Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 70th episode of Movies with My Mother. Can you even believe that?
No, I cannot.
I am Lexi,
And I'm Mom Lori.
and today we watched Nosferatu.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
It says it can't hear us. So let's see if we turn it up a little bit. Do you hear me now?
I can really hear you.
Okay. This goddamn thing. Okay. We watched Nosferatu.
Yeah.
And everywhere I looked, it had a different rating. The movie we just watched, said it was rated PG-13. IMDb says it's not rated. I've seen other versions where it was rated R. So,
Okay, what would any of it have to do with a rating? PG-13 maybe because it's scary?
I mean, yeah, I guess because there's implied,
Yeah. R because of the violence?
I mean, people are dying.
Yeah.
So,
Because there was not we saw that girl's feet a couple of times. That was about as risque as we got.
yeah,
And they were dirty.
they were dirty. I was just like, is this just like a trick of the light in a black and white
No, they
film,
were
or
dirty.
were they just dirty feet?
I walk around barefooted a lot. I know what dirty feet look like.
This movie is from 1922.
Yep.
IMDb said it was 94 minutes. The version we watched was 84 minutes.
Oh, I only saw 80, couple of different 80 times. But
So, who the hell knows?
yeah, we watched it.
And it was directed by F.W. Murnau.
Yes. Who seemed to be an interesting dude.
Yeah. Uh, we'll get to that. It got a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's really high.
I didn't even see that. Wow.
Are you there?
I think I am.
Oh, okay.
I won't touch anything else.
Okay. And it got a 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb.
I I I kind of get that because like I said, I've been sitting here asking you questions.
Yeah. And I really think this movie expects you to know more about Bram Stoker's Dracula than just a casual, oh, he's Count Dracula and he's from Transylvania.
Yeah. I mean,
I think you need to know names and places and who's related to who and how they're related, and
yeah, I really think so because those were the questions I was asking. What?
yeah.
What? So, yeah. And I thought I knew Bram Stoker's Dracula. I don't think I've ever read the book,
Oof.
but I feel like just having lived with it all these years, I knew it, but I don't think so.
Victorian literature is for somebody who is not me.
Mm-mm. No.
I can't. I
No.
can't. All that shit should be right up my Dracula, right up my alley. Frankenstein, right up my alley. Can I read that shit? Absolutely
Mm-mm.
not.
No. That stuff's all horrible to
All the hither and thither and
yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I speak plain English.
Yeah. If somebody can write it in dumb American, please send it
Yeah,
to me.
there you go. Absolutely, I get that. Me too. I'll read it after her.
I couldn't find budget money.
No, no, that's
So I have no idea how this movie got off the ground, who paid for it, what money we're talking about.
well, now I do have,
I saw
when
something about like the production company went bankrupt.
right, because I have that information, and we will get to it because I know it's down here somewhere. But when he came here, he went to a movie studio.
Oh,
Um, oh, okay. In 1926, he emigrated to Hollywood and joined Fox Studio. So there's the money.
oh, okay.
There's the money. And that was probably, he was probably like a house employee. So the money would have just been there.
Yeah.
at that time, I think.
It said that there was a worldwide gross of $21,456.
Wow. In 1922?
Yeah.
Wow. That's got to be several million. Get out your calculator.
You know, have to calculate. Who's texting me?
Not me, cuz I'm talking.
Yeah. Just shopping. Come shop.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, so but yeah, there's some interesting stuff, but it's weird. It just was not what I expected at all.
Do you?
The peanut gallery is talking.
Yeah. Baby, what you want?
I don't even see her.
He is on the top of the one in the hallway. It's Jelly. Jelly is singing us the song of his people.
And loudly.
$21,456 in 1922 is worth $402,684.42 today.
Oh, that's a lot, but that's not all that much.
Still, for
Back then, that's a lot of money.
you get $21,000 at what, 5 cents a movie,
Yeah.
10 cents a movie.
No, I don't think it was even 10 cents. I think closer to 5.
So that's a lot of
But
nickels.
yeah. And considering that there was only one film left after the whole court case,
Yeah,
that's a lot of money.
yeah. Maybe that's why they don't talk about money because of the whole court case.
Could be. Could be because,
You can't sue us for what you don't know we have.
right, or that we made or anything.
Right.
And that is why the production company went bankrupt
Oh,
to avoid the. But we'll get to that.
okay.
We'll get to that. I like to go out of line, but you don't like to go out of line. So
um, and this is going to be the print that we watched is different than the print that IMDb references.
uh-huh.
So I'm going to be using a whole different set of names.
Okay.
This is the post lawsuit names.
Host lawsuit.
You know,
Okay.
the names were changed slightly so
To
to
protect the innocent. Yeah.
yeah, to unpiss off
Right.
Bram Stoker's widow.
Right.
So the plot is that Thomas Hutter, who would be Jonathan Harker,
Yeah.
is sent by his employer, Renfield,
Yeah.
to the Transylvanian castle of Count Graf Orlok, Dracula,
Right.
who is planning to buy property in Germany
Okay.
or London, whichever version you're reading.
Right.
The cast is Max Schreck,
Mhm.
Gustav von Wagenheim, Greta Schroeder, Georg Schnell, Ruth Lantoff, Gustav Botz, Alexander Granach, John Gotout, Gotout, sure, Max Max Nemitz, Wolfgang Heinz, Albert Venor. I can't read my own writing.
Yeah, I know. I do that too.
Karl Ettinger, Hardy von Francois, Guido Hertzfeld, and Fanny Schreck, who was Max Schreck's wife.
Oh, okay.
She was the hospital, the nurse in the hospital.
In the last hospital?
In the hospital with Jonathan Harker
Oh, oh, whoa. Okay.
or
Okay.
Thomas Hutter or whichever name. Which name do you want to use?
Well, Jonathan, the one we saw.
Okay, that'll be less confusing.
To me, yes.
Okay.
You know how confused I can get.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it in a nutshell. But man, it took a long time to get from A to B, didn't it?
Well, yeah, and I think that kind of I think that's because they were kind of going from A to B, like literally
Yeah.
in the movie.
But we got to see C, D, and F too. Missed E
Yeah,
completely.
no E at all.
I I felt that it was very disjointed. I found it hard to keep track of, but you think that that was because I'm not a Bram Stoker Dracula fan.
I I think that didn't help you.
Okay.
I think not knowing really kind of hurt you in this situation.
Right.
But also it was disjointed. And like I've seen this before and I can't say and maybe when I watched it I wasn't paying attention because paying attention it is disjointed.
Right.
And there is a lot of gap filling in that I had to do to help mom get through the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, come on. The guy rode his horse out of town. Jonathan rode his horse out of town and arrived at the castle off of a coach. What? Why did the other guy have to go by boat?
Right.
I don't know. I found it
Because in the book he's not traveling to Bremen,
right.
Germany from Romania. He's traveling to London, England, and you've got to pass Gibraltar and you've got to pass Baltic. You know,
Right.
that all makes sense if he's going to London and not,
Right.
the middle of Germany.
But as usual, I don't know anything about the movie till we watch it for the
Right.
most part. And I was very distracted.
Right.
My little tiny brain cell that's left in my head was going, "What the hell just happened?"
Well, I I of course had a leg up because I read the Wikipedia page. The Wikipedia on this is fascinating.
I'm gonna go back and read that because I don't ever read about the movie.
Yeah.
I stick with what I'm supposed to with the director. So I'm gonna go back and read that.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
Okay. I mean, overall, I think the movie was okay. It told the story.
It it told enough of the story.
Right. So, I mean, even though I was confused, that doesn't mean that anybody else was.
Right.
So, but
But I don't think you should feel stupid in any way because it was a little thin on detail.
okay. And I don't mind a grainy black and white movie. I find that very interesting.
Well, this was a really muddy print
And we'll get to why there's so many remakes of the one remaining
because I
roll of film.
to find out a meal plan for this movie because there's not a lot of food. Dracula's drinking blood. He's not cooking a steak.
Right. Right.
So, there's not a lot of eating going around.
Nope.
And I watched the first like 20 minutes on Tubi on my phone. And on Tubi on my phone was a better picture
Oh my
than the
goodness.
movie we watched on my massive television.
Then then you just picked the right one. You just picked the right one to look at.
Yeah. So,
But no, there wasn't a lot of food. Yeah, they he stopped to eat a couple of times, but they just talked about it. They didn't do it.
no, he doesn't eat until he gets to the Dracula's castle.
Right. Right.
And then it kind of you didn't really see it in this. You could see he was eating a piece of bread and just carving into his hand.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Well, they call that a bagel injury now.
Ooh,
People cut their bagels into their hands
mm.
and yeah. So, but yeah, he ate the bread and you could see that there was meat and fruit
Yeah, lots of fruit. And I said, I'm not buying a thing of grapes.
because neither one of us eat that much fruit.
No.
I like apples. I keep apples in my fridge, but that's about it. I don't buy other stuff. So,
And I just had some watermelon yesterday.
yum.
Yeah,
I do buy cups of watermelon too.
I love watermelon.
Mhm.
Um,
Yep.
but so we settled on a pot roast.
And it was delicious.
It was.
And we didn't cut any bread. We had crescent rolls,
Yeah.
which are delicious.
Oh, they were fresh from the oven.
Oh,
You
man.
know, when you can eat 6 of them just without thinking?
Hey, you weren't entitled to 6, there's 10, so you only get 5 of them. We discussed that already.
Correction, there were 8, and I ate 3 of them.
Well, I did have a second one. I do try not to eat a lot of bread, but god darn, those were good.
Yeah, when they're fresh out of the
Mm.
oven, stop it now.
Yeah, yeah. And the meat just melted in your mouth. It was delicious.
Yeah, it didn't, like, fall off
Nope, it wasn't, like,
the
crumbly
yeah.
or what do they call it?
Yeah, shredded.
Shredded. But, man,
So it
it
really
just
was like a piece of carving beef, but it was
melted in your mouth. It was
real tender.
yeah, delicious.
It was great.
I thought everything you cook is delicious. What can I say?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Much better than the meal I gave you last night.
No way, that telling you. I was sitting at work this morning like, "Man, I should have took that second hamburger. That would be real good right now."
I love a cold hamburger. Oh my goodness. Yeah, she came over to my house to pass out candy for the trick-or-treaters,
Yeah.
and I made her a hamburger,
Yeah, it was delicious.
some baked beans,
It was great.
and some handful of chips.
Awesome.
I love that meal.
I I am not hard to please.
No, me either. That's because, you're a peasant just like me. You're happy with a potato in front of you.
Oh, I was talking to my friend at work. Her kids don't like French fries or mashed potatoes.
What?
And I said, "What?" I said, "They'd starve at my house."
Yeah, because we have a potato of some sort with every meal, don't we?
Almost every meal.
I mean we don't always eat potato. We have noodles or we have rice or
Yeah. But 8 times out of 10, it's something potato.
yeah. Wow, they don't eat potatoes. That's weird. Wow, okay.
I told the little one, I said, "We can't be best friends." I said,
No.
"I know you like cool music, and we can be best friends about cool music." I said, "But if you don't like potatoes, we can't be food best friends."
No. Nope. Interesting.
And she just looked at me like I'm crazy because she's 5, and she's just like, "Stop talking to
You're an old lady. Why are you even thinking about food?
me."
Oh my good heavens. 5-year-olds. What do 5-year-olds know? Everything.
Oh, she was spilling all of mom's tea.
Oh boy.
"Did you know this?" "Yes." "Oh, you did?" "Yeah, yeah, your mom and I are friends." She's like, "Oh."
Yep. That's what they do. Oh my goodness. That's funny.
I showed her how to use the mail machine at work.
Oh wow, that's fun.
'Cause when the older daughter comes in too, they play Office Girls.
Nice.
So I said, "You wanna come learn how to do the mail machine?" And she's just like, "Okay." And I showed her how to do it, and I let her run a few things. And I said, "Now you're an official office girl. So
Nice.
so next time when sister comes in, you can show her how to do this."
Oh, kids are wonderful.
Yeah, somebody else's kids are
Yeah,
wonderful.
exactly.
Take them out of my face.
Right. When they start making loud noises or smelling funny, time to go
Yeah.
home, please.
Yeah, cats are about as high tech as I get.
Right. Yes.
So let's talk about Nosferatu. Let's get back to Nosferatu.
Yes, our 70th movie. How cool is that?
First of all, let's talk about that. Can you
Wow.
even imagine
No.
that you've watched 71 movies?
No. No. 71. You are correct in that. No. And only a handful of them have I ever seen before.
Right.
That's the crazy part of it. That the 5 or 6 that I've seen before, that's weird. But yeah, no, I can't believe that we have talked about 70 movies
Yeah,
and watched 71. We're gonna have to go back and watch that movie and talk about it again.
we are going to have to because it was a good
It
movie.
was. But, that's crazy. I mean, we've been doing this a while, couple of days now. I'm
Yeah,
I'm excited about
yeah,
that.
3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you even?
No. No. And people are listening to us. Thank you.
Yeah, I recently put us on YouTube,
Yes.
and we are getting a little bit of traction on YouTube. Well, at least Night of the Living Dead did. Everything else is just kind of hit or miss, but Night of the Living Dead people listen the shit
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah, that's crazy. So welcome you YouTube people.
Yeah, we're glad you're here.
Yeah. I've listened to us on YouTube a couple of times. Um, it's it's as good as the other podcast site that I listen to.
Yeah.
So, good things. But yes. Yes, we had our dinner, our cut meat, and it was delicious. Thank you, Alexis.
Oh, no problem. It was
And but
good in my tummy too.
it, this was a movie that there was not food in again.
Yeah,
We
just very little.
Yeah, but they weren't dealing with the day-to-day life. They were dealing with the unknown.
Yeah,
This movie was all about the unknown. They thought it was plague that had come to their town. Yeah, it was a plague. One guy plague. But yeah, it was an interesting movie. It was creepy as hell.
yeah, it really is. And I think that is because Max Shrek is just kind of with him being just a slight man, but he looked to be massive.
Yes. Yes.
So, you know,
Ugh.
you know, how can you be imposing but still be slight at the same time? I don't know, but that is what that is.
Right. Right. Because he was so scary. He was so frightening. He
Yeah.
wasn't even scary. He was frightening.
Yeah.
He was
With his wild eyes
yes.
and
And
those piano
those
player fingers.
oh my god, his hands were just ugh. Yes. He was the monster. He
Yeah.
was definitely the monster. And he played it well.
Yeah.
He was so silent. He wasn't, and then he was there.
Right.
Ugh. Creepy, creepy,
Well,
creepy.
listen, if I had the power of just like having feather light footsteps, I would sneak up on everybody.
Yeah,
Everybody.
I know. I don't know what featherlight footsteps are.
Yeah, no, I don't, but if I had them, you better believe I'm sneaking everywhere I go.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And it was directed by F.W. Murnau,
Yes.
who lived he was born in 1888 and died in 1931.
Yes.
He is, um, his father was a cloth factory owner.
Oh,
He had two brothers and two stepsisters. And from a very early age, it sounds like he was super smart. From a very early age, he was into Shakespeare and Ibsen and a whole bunch of, that hoity-toity stuff we already discussed that we don't like.
ooh,
So he was, it sounds like he was pretty out there from the get-go. And at an early age, he put on shows with his brothers and sisters in the home that they lived in, and he took his pseudonym pseudonym
pseudonym.
pseudonym of Murnau at age 12.
Oh,
It was a town near where they lived, um, and he took that name. You had told me a different story about why he used a different name, but um, this talk about his early life said that he took this name at age 12.
wow.
So I think that's pretty cool. Very smart. He went to college and studied literature and language and stuff like that. He was in the Air Force, the Army, and WW1 on the Eastern Front. He survived 8 plane
I
crashes.
saw that.
The final one, he crashed in Switzerland and was held there as a POW until the end of the war. Um, his friend and lover was killed in the war when he was in 1915.
Oh, okay.
Is that what's the problem?
Yeah, you keep knocking it, and I hear like fuzz.
Okay. Uh, so let's see. What was I talking about?
His friend and lover was killed on the Eastern Front.
Right.
I read that Max Schreck was also in World War One
Oh,
and probably suffered from what they would have called shell shock,
right.
what we would call
PTSD.
PTSD,
Uh huh. Yeah.
which lended to why he was just so creepy.
Oh, okay.
He liked to be alone and he liked long walks in the forest.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's PTSD.
Yeah.
Murnau became a friend of Max Reinhardt, who was a very prominent 20th century director
Okay.
and things, and that's kind of how he got his start um, in movies. He directed his first movie in 1919, but he did not get any kind of international recognition until this movie in 1922.
Very interesting.
Um, and almost all of his movies are lost.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yep. That um and really nothing he did that I read about was really a um commercial success, but he was still very well known. Let's see what I say. Oh, art history and literature is what he studied in college. And when he was at Heidelberg College is when he met Max Reinhardt and was invited to attend his acting school.
Oh, cool.
So after the war, after he returned to Germany from Switzerland, he established a film studio with his friend Conrad Veidt. You know
Okay.
him.
I know who Conrad Veidt is.
Yep. And the first movie that they made was The Boy in Blue in 1919. It was about you probably know what painting The Boy in Blue is.
Okay.
It's a Gainsbourg painting, and they made a whole movie out of the idea of this painting,
Oh,
and it was what it they said it explored dual personalities of the sort of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
oh,
So, you know, he was very thinking. He was a really thinking type of person. First off, to create a whole movie out of a painting,
yeah.
you know, the whole scenario came from just this painting.
Hmm.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
I love Conrad Veidt.
yes,
I think his most famous work that like not horror people would recognize was he was in Casablanca.
right.
Yeah. He was one of the Nazis.
Yes. You know, and I have to wonder, I don't know the time. The Nazis were in the 30s, weren't they?
Yes.
Hitler and
And that all started in the 30s
at the time of World War II.
and World War II
Okay. All right.
ran into the 40s.
Yes. Okay. I'm there now.
But National Socialism kind of made it an appearance in the 20s.
Yes. And I think that that's probably why he was who he was because his father owned a cloth factory. That means they had money and they had fortune. They were fortunate enough to
Yeah.
not be affected by the piddly things that were going on in society at the time.
Right.
I think, how else would a young man um go to college at that time?
Right.
That's not what was done unless you were wealthy.
Right.
And and because he was like, it sounds like he was super smart. He knew a lot of stuff and he just soaked up knowledge
Oh, cool.
everywhere he went. So, then we get to the per, pran, Prana films.
Okay.
Prana films.
Sure.
Uh, they they were the ones that came up against the widow of Bram Stoker.
Yeah.
And um after she won the copyright lawsuit, the judgment that was made was that all copies of the movie were to be destroyed. So all the copies that were available were destroyed, but one film had already been distributed,
Yes.
and it's this copy that has been reproduced so many times. And even at that time, it was considered a cult film.
Really?
Yeah, even back in the 20s, it
Oh,
was considered a cult film
that's cool.
because it was supposed to have been destroyed,
Yeah.
and not seen again. And that's, unfortunately, that type of film didn't last forever.
The
That's,
celluloid.
yeah, that's why so many of his films were just lost.
Yeah.
They just deteriorated in their cans and they couldn't be seen anymore.
I'm still hoping for a copy of London After Midnight. I'm still hoping. Keep an eye out in
Okay.
your attics and your basements. That's one of Lon Chaney's last movies.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. That's a werewolf film.
No, London. It's a vampire movie, but is it a vampire movie?
I
But is it?
I don't know.
You don't know, and we'll
Okay.
never know because the movie doesn't exist
Huh.
unless it's in somebody's attic or somebody's basement or in a film vault somewhere.
Right. Right. Interesting. Inter- Interesting. And in the movie The Last Laugh, written
Okay.
by Carl Mayer,
Of
um
Metro Goldwyn Mayer.
I tried to look that up and it never connected that, but I have to wonder if there was some relationship there.
Okay.
This Mayer was the first person that Murnau had seen the camera eye, the way they used the camera to look through the eyes of the character,
Oh, okay.
and therefore to tell the character's psychological state. And I thought, ooh, we've seen movies like that.
Oh, and it just occurred to me that Metro Goldwyn Mayer, that was Louis B. Mayer.
Louis B. Mayer. But and that was after 1922. So is this guy some relation to that guy?
Oh, I don't know.
That's what I tried to look for.
Oh, okay.
Um, the last film he made in Germany, uh, I lost my place.
Ah, shit.
So let's skip that, whatever I was talking about.
His last film in Germany? I don't know. That's kind of important.
Oh, no, this is a whole different subject.
Oh, okay.
The movie, this movie, Nosferatu, and the movie Faust in 1996 were two of the very first movies to ever be scored.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
movie music. First time it was ever happening. Um, but how did this come out in 22? And maybe that movie came out in 26.
Faust?
Yeah,
I can't tell you, but
I don't know what it is.
You don't know the story of Faust?
Well, yes, I do know that,
Oh, okay.
but I don't know anything about that movie. I didn't look up that movie. But I thought, "Oh, how interesting that those were, the movies." And usually the silent films, there was an organ an organist in the theater,
Yeah,
played all that dramatic music.
yeah.
So this came with music, I guess, is what I read.
I would think that they all came with music if somebody was there playing something,
Yeah.
unless they were just playing classical music that they thought went along with the movie.
Oh, no, but when would they get that dun, dun, dun? When would
Oh, yeah.
when would the music match the theme of the show? I don't know. I thought that that would be the right timing, so I thought it was
So
cool.
in hold on, what is that Dracula music? Shut up. What is the Dracula music? It's like toccata and fugue in D minor.
Ew, okay. Dark stuff.
But that was by Bach.
Okay.
So when was that written?
Bach?
Yeah.
That would have been in the 1800s, wouldn't it? The late.
Date of its origin is unknown. Scholars suggested between 1704 and 1750s.
Oh,
So, and you know that Dracula music, that
yeah,
yeah.
right. Ah, cool.
So that's been around since the 1700s.
Well,
So, you know,
they've always had dramatic music.
maybe somebody wrote the Jaws theme in 1605 and we just don't know that.
Exactly. That is exactly correct. All right. Let's see. Murnau emigrated to Hollywood
Okay.
in 1926 and joined Fox Studio.
Okay.
We had mentioned that before, um, up when we were talking about the money.
Yeah.
And I would think that at that time, that would be the very beginnings of Hollywood. You know, no, they had
No,
no,
no. They've the moving picture has been since like the 1890s.
yeah, yeah. But maybe that was the time of the studios.
Maybe that could be.
Yeah. Um, Fox Studios. The first movie made there at Fox Studio was called Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans.
Okay. The hell
Again,
does that mean?
again, it was not a big success. I don't know. I don't know. But Murnau was showing his abilities at that time because that is when the very first Oscar awards were awarded, and he received um, for best unique and artistic production,
Oh.
and he shared with the movie Wings, which we've all heard of. I've never seen that one either,
Uh-uh.
but we all know what Wings is. Um, though that movie, his movie, and this movie Wings were the best picture of that year,
No
of
shit.
the very first Academy Awards, and the best actress was Janet Gaynor.
Huh.
So I thought, oh my gosh, this guy was at the beginning of everything, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was there. Um, Again, more pictures that he did were lost. Um, but again, neither was a big success. And it took, and after the, the disappointment of not being successful, he went on a journey to the South Pacific and got hooked up with a documentary group, and he started a movie. Um, the movie that was premiering when he was killed. Let me see if I have it written down. Gosh, I just have everything all combobulated here. But he died. He died just the week before the movie was to premiere. Ah, anyway,
Okay.
we'll move on from there.
Sure.
Let me see if I can look it up real quick. because I think it was an important movie that you know what? Taboo.
Okay.
It was about the South Pacific Islands, and when it did finally come out here in the United States, there was a lot of censoring of it. Censor.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Censoring.
I'm having a terrible day because the South Pacific people didn't wear clothes, and there were a lot of women walking around with bare boobs.
Oh,
So
how dare they?
yeah, I know. Um, let's see. Then we can go move on to his personal life, which sounded like it was a shit show.
Well,
Uh, his first boyfriend was killed on the Russian front in 1915, like I mentioned.
yeah.
Um, and it doesn't sound like he was very welcome in the industry. It sounds like he was really out gay then.
Yes.
It doesn't, so many people of that time were very closeted. They
Yes.
they were, they knew that if it got out, their careers would be ended.
Right.
And it just sounds like this guy didn't care. He was there.
Right.
And he didn't make any excuses, it doesn't sound like.
It it I had heard on something else where they talked about people being people being able to be out and proud and just living their life openly in Europe, but
Huh.
then coming to Hollywood and having to be very closeted and, straight acting,
Oh,
straight appearing, um, to get by.
interesting because of the Protestant ethic that the Americans grew up with.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, it didn't sound like his family was real thrilled that he was gay.
No, and that was one of the reasons I saw that he had taken a different name was to kind of distance himself from his parents because they weren't too cool with him
Yeah.
being gay.
So, different time. Um, he died in 19 March of 1931 after an auto accident, and
Yeah.
we together we had talked about that.
I didn't realize that somebody else was driving the car. That makes a little more sense that his body was found crunched up under the dashboard
Oh, okay. Yes, yeah. Yes, there would have been a chauffeur.
on the passenger side.
There definitely would have been a
Right.
chauffeur.
But again, how does a 6'4" man i- in in a car, in any car, get under the dashboard?
Well, it rolled. The car flipped and rolled.
I understand that, but 6'4". That's a little bit bigger than Justin.
You turn into a rag doll.
I know you do,
And
but
it
but
sounds like they were going at speed.
where are you putting Justin in the foot part
If
of a passenger seat in any number of cars?
if he had been in the back seat, if he was a back seat passenger and they flipped and rolled, he very well could end up in the passenger seat under the dash
Mm.
because he would be just crumpled.
No, I understand bits and pieces, like an arm here, or, his head was there and his legs were out, but his whole body
He could
crunched up in a ball.
it
Mm.
could happen. I absolutely I believe it. I believe it.
I don't.
Well, there's numerous stories,
Uh, I saw.
and I told you about. I have three written down.
Okay,
Two different cars.
sure.
Um, one was a he was driving up the Pacific Highway in a rented Packard
Okay.
touring car, which would be a huge
That would have been a
boat.
big car.
Yep, with his valet, Elizar Garcia Stevenson. And in one story, Stevenson was driving. In another story, there was a chauffeur who is associated with the car. So we don't, apparently nobody knows the story.
Yeah.
But truck swerved and they swerved to miss the oncoming truck and hit the embankment. And it said everyone was thrown from the car. Um, it said they were thrown from the car,
Yeah, how are you crunched up under the dash if you're thrown from the car?
but he is the only one that died. His valet lived.
Yes.
And in another story, and I think that this one was the one that he was in a Mercedes
Ooh, okay.
touring car. The chauffeur, the chauffeur was responsible for the car,
Okay.
and in the back, the valet who had been hired to go with Murnau to Germany, he was going to be his driver in Germany, were arguing about who was going to drive. And the chauffeur said, I'm driving. And Stevenson said, well, I want to drive so I can show him how good I drive. And so in the end, um, Renault said, okay, 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 I'll take responsibility for the car and Stevenson can drive. And apparently he took them on a wild ride.
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride?
Yes.
Holy crap.
The car was driving at very high speeds,
Ugh.
and when the truck that swerved was seen, he swerved, and everybody in the car was thrown over the embankment, and everybody in that case except Murnau died or lived, including the the Shetland sheepdog that was with him.
Oh my god. Okay. Now there's a sheepdog in the mix.
Right, we got the chauffeur and the valet and the dog and him now.
Oh, okay.
And then the third one, which is even better,
Yeah.
he was having sex with the driver of the car who happened to be a young man.
It was
And
it was a case of roadheads.
apparently and it's the
Not that I ever want to say that in front of you again in my life. Because I don't want to know that you know that, and I don't want you to know that I know that.
well, I just read it here. I wrote it down. So I don't know nothing about what I wrote down.
Okay.
So apparently at the climax, the car swerved, hit the embankment, and you know it was lights out from no.
Going out with a bang, huh?
Yeah, apparently.
Holy shit.
So there's lots of stories about how he died, and
Yeah.
I think that that comes with someone who is different from others. There's lots of stories.
Right. And any effort, any easy effort to discredit him as a
Right,
human being
right,
because he was not like he was supposed to be
right,
in Hollywood, I 1000% understand that.
right. The story I read, it was a young man, and you had said you had read a
That he was
story
14.
14. My goodness.
Yeah.
That's but I read other things about him, and he convinced another young man to pose nude for him in this by the swimming pool, who happened to be the lover of a friend of his.
Oh.
So, did he like young men? Yeah, apparently he did.
Who the hell don't like young men? No, I'm kidding. I don't like them that
It's
young.
not that young.
Oh my god.
If you got to change their diaper for crying out loud, no. If they cannot feed themselves, stay
Yeah,
away.
if you can't work the stove, go away from me.
Right.
Because mama doesn't cook every day.
No, no. So, so who knows? And at his funeral in Hollywood, uh, it said there were only 15 people there.
That's crazy.
Well, he was, thought of as not that kind of you know, not the right kind of person.
Right.
And but Greta Garbo was there,
Yeah.
and she had commissioned a death mask of him that she kept on her desk until her death
Oh, that's
at like
awesome.
age 80.
Yeah.
So, and it was thought that maybe she had this friendship with him or whatever it was because of the thought that maybe she was a lesbian
Well,
during the time.
there are things that I have seen, like American Horror
Right.
American Horror Story. Have you ever
Mhm.
seen that?
Nope. No, I have some
Um,
stuff about that.
one of the series is called Freak Show,
Uh-huh.
and it's a woman that's running like, a sideshow in Florida, and she is German, and she came from the German movies, and she knew the big German names from these blue movies. And this woman, unfortunately, how she is now part of the sideshow circuit is that she was in a snuff film, and her
Oh.
legs were cut off at the knees.
Ow. Okay. Interesting.
And but she heavily implied that Marlene Dietrich
Mhm.
and Greta Garbo were heavily involved with each other.
And
And maybe,
yeah,
sure.
absolutely. Today, or for me, I don't care.
No.
You know, they did their jobs and they did their jobs well,
Yeah.
and what they did at home is their business.
Yeah. Are you in a happy, healthy relationship? With a consenting adult? Fine.
That's what's important.
Yeah. A- Any other detail? I do not care.
Right. Right. So, but there were more people at his uh funeral. After that funeral, his body was taken to Germany to be interned in the family crypt
Yes.
beside his two brothers.
And did you see I didn't write down the dates, but his body has been disturbed
Three
multiple
times.
times.
I have information on that.
Okay.
Um, where do I have
A
information
lot
on
of
that?
recent stuff too.
Yes, three times. That its body has been disturbed on three different occasions. He's in a cemetery near Berlin.
Okay.
Uh, 2000, the most recent was 2015 when the crypt was broken into and
His skull
his
was stolen.
skull was stolen. His brothers' coffins were also disturbed, but nothing was taken from there. They must have known which one was his.
Weird.
And his skull was stolen. The police still feel that it was some sort of an occult type thing, some kind of a ceremony, possibly
It's always Satanism.
because of the wax that was left around the crypt and inside
So
the.
somebody took a candle in there to not be conspicuous with a lantern or
Well,
a headlight.
why would you take a candle anywhere in 2015? What's the matter with a flashlight?
You can see flashlights from far away, but sometimes you can't see candles until they're right in front of you.
I don't buy that.
I'm telling you.
Okay. But that's, at that time that there were other ritual type things that had been just graves disturbed.
Ugh,
Uh a couple of times in the 70s it had been the mausoleum, the crypt, mausoleum,
sure.
whatever they call it,
Huh?
had been broken into on a couple of other occasions. And the he was in an iron coffin. They had put him inside an iron coffin which would probably look pretty magnificent.
I'm sure it would be
And
cool.
it had been attempted to open at those
Was
times.
he irradiated? Why did he need to be in an iron coffin?
Probably because it was really cool.
Oh, well, I mean, listen, if
I don't know.
if I had mausoleum money,
Right.
I would have the coolest casket you'd ever see.
Right. Absolutely.
And I plan on being cremated, so just put my urn in that, just let it take up space.
Okay.
Mausoleum money.
I I know, baby, I know. And I have pictures of the headstone. It's not a headstone, it's a monument.
Oh, wow, cool.
And yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Neat.
Let's see. We go back to him as a filmmaker.
Okay.
Some of his trademark stuff is innovative use of light and dark shadowing
Okay.
to create certain moods. And that was at the time they didn't have the money for sets and stuff.
Yeah.
So a lot of what you see in those movies is paintings,
Yeah.
which has to have to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Um he's very good at his visual storytelling, and he also likes towering heights, which we saw in this movie. There was a lot of stuff that you were looking down at stuff.
Yeah.
And the crazy guy on top of the roof
Yeah.
looking down at the people. Okay, first off, what was that guy doing on that roof?
Yeah. And why was he chucking rocks at people? Also, why were they chucking rocks back at him?
Right. Where was he getting the rocks on
First
the
of
top
all,
of a roof?
that's the next question.
That was a shingled roof, a tiled roof. Where was he getting the rocks?
Yeah. Did he fill his pockets up before he climbed up? You would think that that would make things harder.
Yes. I don't know. I found that very weird. That's all part of the German expressionalist cinema that was at the
Okay.
time. That use of dark and light and the
Yes.
paintings to increase the tension in the films. And that's we had talked about the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Yes.
And
The,
that's
the surrealism of that.
right. That's one of the very first of the expressionist films. Um, the highly stylized. I don't know what. And you gonna give me a glass of wine to go with the hot roast today? Holy, I can't barely speak, and I've only drank water. Oh my gosh. You made me lose my place
You're
here.
highly stylized.
Yep, highly stylized and symbolic. The way they used their sets and the paintings of what they were doing. Um, and and the fact that in the 20s, European society wanted to look forward, to look ahead, and maybe some of those big buildings that we saw weren't really big buildings at all, but paintings of big buildings because society wanted to look to the future and not past.
Huh. Now, I
So,
do know that some of the castle exteriors were real castle exteriors.
yes, they were. But
And I'm going to butcher them, but one was Pastis and Orava.
yes. And those were used I get what I read. I get the idea that some of those pictures were used like file footage, I guess is what we call it now.
Oh,
They have a picture of a castle, so they're going to use that picture of the castle.
okay.
It's because they didn't have the money to go and either go to the castle or build a castle.
Okay.
So that's what I got from what I read. They did with what they had.
Okay.
And I get it. I get it that. and a lot of German um, directors came out of the horror genre.
Yeah.
So I think this guy sounds kind of interesting. You know, he was a smart guy. He went to college in the 20s. I mean, that was unheard of, and he just really made his mark in the cinema, even though he died at such a young age.
Yeah.
I found him very interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah,
A little tidbit about the what did I say? Pastis.
yes,
That castle is part of the um 17th century Hungarian Empire in what is now Slovakia.
huh?
And that was the main residence and later um prison for notorious Hungarian Countess Elizabeth Bathory.
That we talked about last night. I didn't
Yeah,
know much about her until you told me.
who is said to have um been an inspiration for the character of Count Dracula.
Uh huh.
Um her story is quite there was an article on the AP yesterday about her, and I it was so interesting because it's I've always heard the legend that she tortured and killed slave girls to bathe in their blood to retain her youth and beauty.
Okay.
Um, and how, that, you know, to some extent, people might have been tortured and killed in her castle, but was it really her doing it? Or was it something more of a situation that she was widowed fairly young and she refused to remarry to keep her wealth and her property and to keep all of that
Oh,
for herself.
yes.
And did, you know, wealthy men that were pissed off that she wouldn't let them take her shit
Right.
start telling everybody, oh, this lady is
Right.
wild. Which we know
I
is something that men have done since the dawn of time.
Yeah, I buy it. Yeah, absolutely buy that story. Yeah, absolutely.
So, that really it never even occurred to me that something like that could have been um something that was a reason for this story.
Right.
It
Interesting.
I had a mind-blowing moment.
Yeah, interesting. That goes on right to today. Didn't Donald Trump just say the other day that he's going to protect us poor women, whether we want it or not? So there you go. You are absolutely correct in what you say. Men have said from the dawn of time, I've got to take care of these women, these poor women.
Yeah, these poor stupid women.
Bullshit. I'm
uh,
smarter than any man I know.
And I have agency,
Right.
and I'm not afraid to wield that.
No, absolutely not.
We have come to a point in history where we have to wield our agency like armor,
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
because every 4, 8, 10, 12, 20 years some idiot comes around that threatens our agency.
Yep. Yep. Because they know better than we do.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, what else do you have about those castles? Those are interesting.
Well, that was really all I had about the castles. Um,
Nice.
but I just thought that was cool just to, you know, a blood countess. We're talking about vampires. We got to talk about the blood countess who needed blood to keep her youthful appearance. And isn't that the whole thing about vampires is they
Yes.
stay, eternally young through drinking blood?
Yes, that is it. That's the reason they drink the blood.
And I've also read it the vampire lore is so varied and it's so storied that there is a different explanation for vampirism pretty much every door you open.
Yeah.
And one of them and they use the shot of Dracula dying in this movie as a specific like point of reference is that the rays of sunshine that hit his body, he's got some sort of vitamin D allergy. And I've heard that before
Yes.
that that's what causes vampires to explode in the sunlight. Is some sort of wild vitamin D allergy and I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, we know that there are people who are allergic to the sun.
Yeah.
We know that. That's not true.
No. And as people of Eastern European descent, we are very sensitive to the sun. I am
Oh,
very white.
yes. Yeah, we're very pale people.
Right.
And we my cousins are all pale. My people I know in my whole family are pale. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's just the way it is. And there are people who are allergic to the sun.
Yeah.
Interesting.
If I have like extended exposure, I get a rash.
Heat rash?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It sucks.
Used to be a brown bean all the time.
No, that was Blythe.
No, you too.
Really?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
An exposed light bulb kind of hurts me after a while.
yeah, me too. Maybe that's why I barely ever have lights on at my house.
That's, we were, I joke at work with the ladies, like I live half my life in the dark. And yeah, I'm not lying when I say that. Like, I get up in the middle of the night, I go to work in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and
My day is over by
I
3 o'clock.
right. I turn the light on in the bathroom to put my makeup on, or, I don't turn the light on to go to the bathroom. I know where the toilet is. I can manage.
Yeah.
I don't need a light for that.
Uh-uh.
I feed the cat in the dark.
Yeah.
I only have a light on if someone's with me, some I have company, or if I'm reading. Like I had the light on yesterday because I was doing my homework.
Yeah. The light in the kitchen is on only because I was cutting meat and I
Oh,
didn't want to cut my hand. But also, like, Justin will come in the kitchen and I'm cutting and I'm cooking and in the dark, and he's just like, "Why don't you have the light on?" It's just like, "I don't need it."
right,
You
right.
you know?
Yeah, I have a little nightlight in my kitchen that I use most of the time. And if I need extra light, I turn the light on over the stove, not the the room lights.
Right.
Yeah, maybe we're vampires.
Well, we did talk about maybe turning into vampires the last time we watched a vampire movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting.
Yeah. So let's get into a little bit of trivia.
Okay.
This movie is 102 years old,
Yep. Yep. Crazy, huh?
and after 102 years, virtually all of the exteriors are still intact in the cities of Wismar and Lubeck,
Oh my goodness.
Germany.
Well, they were there a long time before 100 years ago.
Probably.
Those there's a lot of those cities that were there in the 1500s and
Oh, yeah.
1400s, so why aren't they still there?
Right.
Cool.
But to have the same building still standing 100 years later, that's cool.
Yeah.
This movie was originally banned in Sweden for the excessive horror.
Oh
The ban wasn't lifted until 1972.
my gosh. Gosh.
And we watched this on the heels of something like Texas Chainsaw. This was nothing.
No.
This is something you'd let little kids watch.
Right. Like I said when he was looking at his neck, I said, does he have puncture wounds
Well,
wax?
that's
Yeah,
if we had watched a better restored copy, you would have seen that he had marks on his neck.
but we've seen vampire movies that had big red sucking holes with blood dripping out of them.
Yeah, well, that all kind of that goes again with the different kind of vampires. You got the rat-like vampires that have the close teeth and the neat holes. You've got the gentleman vampire who, his teeth retract. So, it's a little more it's either very neat or it's very messy.
Okay.
So, and then you've got the vampires that are like wolves that just rip out your throat and just, get a spray.
Okay.
So it's all kind of what kind of vampire are we watching today
Yep.
is how we're going to see them consume blood.
And we've seen lots of vampire movies. So,
Yeah, we saw Blade,
yep.
and in the Blade universe, um, in the first movie, he's dealing with the gentleman type vampire, humanoid vampires. In Blade 2, he's dealing um with monsters. Their mouths open like this,
Yep.
and they've got like their jaws are like articulated.
I don't know.
So it's more like if you've ever seen the movie Predator, it's like the predator's mouth,
Huh?
and it opens and it's all
Ew.
teeth.
Okay.
So, it all really depends on what vampire movie we're watching.
Right. How the vampire fits the movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Interesting. Interesting.
And I think it at a time like this that just having him look like a rat but still be that gentleman vampire um is a thing of its own.
Okay. All right.
And there's a whole like the Wikipedia gets into the time period. The the lingering anti-Semitism that is kind of coming to a head in Germany at that time, and why the Dracula in this movie looks the way he does.
Uh-huh.
Um with the really large hooked nose and the rat-like teeth. It's to make fun of Jews.
Oh, I don't think I knew that. Okay.
Yeah, because Jews were considered the rats of human beings.
Okay.
I don't understand that.
Me no. No.
Um, but and the giant hook nose, that's a thing um that really bothers me, the giant hooked prosthetic nose. That was a false nose.
Sure. Then on the other hand, having come from Russian people, there's some big noses in our family.
Oh, absolutely.
You know. So
We are 100% Eastern European people.
yeah, yeah.
There is no question about where our ancestors are
No.
from just by looking at us.
Right. Right.
But
Oh, interesting. I don't think I've ever thought of
yeah,
it from that angle.
and
Okay.
I have never thought of it either. Um, but I mean, given the time period, given Germany, it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Interesting.
It also has a lot of occultism, and it doesn't mention this in the movie. All it says was that the first Nosferatu was from 1443. Was created in 1443. It doesn't say who created them, why they were created. It just says they were created in 1443. And Murnau and Albin Grau, one of the producers, decided to give this Count Dracula demonic lineage.
Oh.
He is a creation of Belial, one of the satanic archdemons.
Uh-huh.
Archdemons? It's arch. It's their archangel. Oh
Arc.
no, they're arc.
Arc. Yeah.
Archdemons.
Interesting.
Belial is in Psalm 41:8 and 8 through 10, and is also associated with pestilence, with the rats and the
Yes.
plague.
Yes. Oh.
Um, his link to Belial is also highly significant because Belial is one of the demons traditionally summoned by Gaelic magicians. Someone who, obviously, this is somebody who practiced dark sorcery before becoming a vampire.
Oh.
And I told you about the paperwork that the Renfield character had before the Harker character walks in
Yes. And
and Renfield gives him the assignments.
yes.
That is in an angel language
Okay.
that was recorded by an English occultist in the late 16th century.
Oh, okay.
It was, what is it called? Enochian language?
Interesting.
I think Enoch is one of those books of the Bible
It,
that like
well,
exists but doesn't exist.
correct. Enoch was, I'm trying to think who Enoch was. Abraham's father, maybe? Oh, heck, I don't know. I stuff like that's yeah, but Enoch was said to never have died, but ascended to the the heavens to be with the creator. Who knows?
Huh. Somebody who never dies.
Yes.
That's very vampire-y.
Yes, it is.
So that was cool. This whole Wikipedia is
I'm
fascinating.
going to go home and read it. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
what else do I got? We talked about the Bram Stoker connection. The
Yes.
film to to avoid litigation, they changed the names and the places
Right.
to try and kind of get ahead of it.
But it didn't work.
That was not what they wanted to happen at all.
Sounded like Mrs. Stoker was a bulldog. She got her teeth in it and wasn't letting go.
You're not playing with my money.
Right.
The film, uh, one film managed to be distributed, like you said.
Right.
That film was subtitles were translated to French and then were sent off to the US and were then translated into English.
Interesting.
And when it was translated into English, the Stoker names and the Stoker character names were still used,
Oh,
like the cut we watched.
yes.
All of the original prints were ordered to be destroyed, so the original subtitles were lost.
Yes.
The American version was sent to the UK, where it was translated back into German. So, can you even imagine taking a German film, taking it to French, taking it to English, taking it back to German? That's just one big game of telephone.
Wow.
So, you wonder why it's a bit disjointed.
That makes all kinds of sense now.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
When restorers went to make a definitive version, they scoured archives all over, not finding anything.
Oh,
They had later heard of a good print in an East German archive. So East Germany. So this is post World War II.
oh, wow. Okay.
When did the Berlin Wall fall? The 80s. So this
Yeah.
is any time between 1945 and like 1989.
Yeah.
And that print had been loaned out. And they were like, seriously? But there was a secondary print that it was okay, but it wasn't as in good a shape as the one that was loaned out.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, "Okay, we'll watch that one. We'll see how that goes." That one had the original subtitles,
Oh my gosh.
and it had been sitting in a vault
Oh my gosh.
unattended to.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You asked about the hyena?
Yes, that was a hyena.
That
I'm sure it
it
was.
really was. It was a straight hyena. Um, it was in the movie because the villagers could say that there was a werewolf on the prowl.
Oh, okay. Okay. When I think of a werewolf, I think of a gigantic wolf, a dog,
Yeah,
not a
a husky. Yeah,
yeah, not a thing in the
not
shape of a hyena.
not a cat-sized hyena.
But maybe that's what people thought then.
I don't, who
You know.
knows? Um, Werner Herzog,
Mm,
director. He directed the remake starring Klaus Kinski in like 1979.
oh my goodness.
Said that this is the greatest German film ever made.
Interesting. Very interesting.
It was shot between August and October of 1921.
Yeah, that's what I read. Yeah.
This movie has been selected by the Vatican in the art category of its list of 45 great films you must see.
That's amazing. The Vatican would speak of this.
Well, they also said I also remember seeing that in the Blues Brothers because they're on a mission from God.
Yeah,
And in this movie, the evil is destroyed by the light. So, I'm sure that has some sort of religious leanings.
absolutely.
This calls the boat the German name, the Schooner Ampusa, that takes Count Orlok, is a reference to Greek mythology. In the movie, it was called the Demeter. In Dracula, it's called the Demeter. Whatever. I'm sure that's something too. But the Ampusa is a type of shape-shifting phantom that preys on men for seduction, food, or blood.
Ew. Okay.
We talked about that. The oldest surviving this oh, the oldest surviving Dracula film and the first to be released was Dracula's Death in 1921. It was filmed in late 1920 and early 1921, but it wasn't released until 1923, so this movie is technically the first Dracula movie.
Interesting. Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
This is one of director Guillermo del Toro's favorite films.
Okay.
Guillermo del Toro is an award-winning director. He recently just did The Shape of Water.
Yes.
And that movie is the love story that should have happened between the woman on the ship and the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Okay.
Guillermo del Toro grew up with the Universal monsters and his affinity for them is unmatched.
Yep. Interesting.
Um we talked about Conrad Veidt.
Yep.
He was originally offered the role of the Dracula character
Uh-huh.
since he and Murnau were close.
Uh-huh.
But he had to pass due to scheduling conflict. And I don't know what movie that would have been
Oh, we
because I
talked about it
I
yesterday.
feel like Caligari came out first.
Oh, do I have a date for Caligari?
I think it came out in 21.
Let's see.
And I wrote this number down, and I gotta double check that real quick because I don't think that's the right number. Try to go away
I
from me.
do not have a date for the cabinet of Dr. Kalahari. Kalahari.
Caligari.
Jesus Christ.
Kalahari, like the water
The
park.
water park. Yeah, yeah. Let's go there.
Okay, what? This is towards the end. Blah 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 blah. Oh, this is all stupid. Blah 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 blah. Because I looked at it on the computer, so it's in different order. You were talking about scores.
Yes.
In the late 90s, the film score was replaced by the music of goth metal band Typo Negative. I know. Okay, I knew that number was wrong. Um, I, you know, having listened to goth metal in the 90s,
Yes.
I know exactly who Typo Negative is.
Right, so do I.
Peter Steele, the lead singer, was in Playgirl magazine trying to reach out to female and gay fans. It's they're wild pictures. Deborah has a copy of it.
Oh my gosh. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Caligari.
Jesus Christ, I'm looking right at it. 1920.
Okay, yeah, okay. So that came out first.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know what the conflict would have been. Um,
He was big. He was a big star. He was probably doing something.
yeah, I'm sure. This movie is included in the book 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die.
Oh,
Also included is the Herzog remake, which is the only original and remake included in the book.
oh, cool.
Yeah. Now I have tried to watch the Herzog remake.
Not getting it, huh? I get it.
I
You know how I feel about remakes. One's one and done. Be done.
well, I think there's like so much more going on than like what is actually in the story.
Yeah,
And there's just so much like filler shit that doesn't need to be there.
right.
Also I know that Klaus Kinski is a madman. He was a madman. So, I don't give a shit about his work. And I don't care if people thought he was a great actor. You know, he's a turd.
And we're entitled to our feelings.
This movie is still in the pop culture zeitgeist.
Of
It has been remade several times.
course, yeah. I have several things that has been spawned from this movie. And it's not just movies. It's books and other things.
Um, Most notably is a remake that is coming to theaters in December of this year, starring Bill Skarsgård
Yes.
and Lily Rose Depp.
Yes.
Um, in the late 90s or early 2000, there was a movie made called um, what was it named? Shadow of the Vampire.
By E. Elias Merking.
Yeah, something like that.
Hmm.
And it was the fictionalized version of the making of this movie,
Yes.
and it posits that Max Schreck was actually a vampire
Oh,
and that he was
interesting.
killing crew members left and right. And it was all kind of an unspoken agreement between him and Murnau that he was able to do this.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Um, Willem Dafoe plays Max Schreck,
Yep. And
and John
John Malkovich.
Malkovich
Yep. Hmm.
played Murnau,
Yeah.
and it is a brilliant movie.
Interesting.
It's
Okay.
it's great, and it's something to go back and watch.
All right.
It was nominated for 2 Academy Awards.
Interesting.
Um, it, they mentioned this on SpongeBob.
You were talking about that yesterday. Interesting.
The vampires from Salem's Lot took its inspiration in the Nosferatu appearance because that vampire is very rat-like with the pointy ears and the bald head, and um so there's that. Um Nos 4A2, a robotic vampire based on Nosferatu, made multiple appearances in Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. That's a Disney show.
Yes. Yes. My goodness.
Um, it's wild. And Puerto Rican singer Bad Bunny, who's making news for backing Kamala Harris after Trump allowed a comedian to talk shit about Puerto Rico, even though he loves Puerto Rico so
Right.
much.
And hello, Puerto Rico is American.
But they can't vote.
That is true, but they are all considered Americans.
Yeah.
They are Americans.
Um, but his 2023 music video for Vaticano is kind of loosely based around this film and Dr. Caligari.
I'll be darned.
I watched the video yesterday.
Yep.
It was wild. And I don't speak Spanish. The only word I picked up was marijuana.
See, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. American Horror Stories
Uh-huh.
mentions in 2015 Mar- Murnau's travels in the Carpathian Mountains. It says he discovered a vampire group there and they turned him into a vampire. And then he returned to Hollywood and turned Rudolph Valentino into a vampire.
Oh, interesting. Do you know what season that was?
2000. I did not write that down.
Because
I remember it talked about seasons, but I didn't write it down.
I stopped watching it after Roanoke.
Could it have been season 7?
I don't know. I'm gonna look up American Horror Story. American Horror Story. What was on 2015? It started in 2011. Episode guide. So season 3 was in 13. Season 4 was in late 14. So that was Freak Show. Late 14, early 15. Late 15 is Hotel. And that was a good one. 7, that's Roanoke.
Okay, then that was season 7 was something else I was reading.
Oh, season 7, that was Cults. So that could be.
Oh, okay.
I didn't watch that one. I stopped at Hotel. Oh no, I stopped at Roanoke. So that was season 6.
And that would be vampire. He discovers a group of vampires that turned him into a vampire. Yeah, that could be cult stuff.
Yeah.
2020, there was a movie called Vampires versus the Bronx.
Oh boy,
And
okay.
there was the name of the company of that was the vampires was the Murnau Properties. Interesting.
Huh.
And in 2022, there was a short that was revolved around the skull, the stolen skull.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, there's all kinds of stuff has been um spun off of this movie.
Yeah.
I have here in 1998 somebody wrote a book, Jim Shepard, but I have nothing there. Book by Jim Shepard.
Well, I
I
know
don't know what.
that um Joe Hill, who is Stephen King's son,
Uh-huh.
has a successful book series and a TV series based on the book called um it's spelled NOS number 4 a letter or number 2. Nos 4A2.
Oh,
Nosferatu. And I've never watched it. Um I don't know, Joe Hill's a little hokey to me.
I've never heard of him. So
If Do you remember what Stephen King looked like in
yes,
1985?
yes.
That's exactly what Joe Hill looks like.
Oh my goodness.
It's it's wild that
That he could look so much like his father.
it's it's like he's trying to replace his father.
Oh my goodness.
Let me find a picture of this man.
Okay. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Except his face is round. His father's face was more long.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, here's a side by side. Stevens is a little more square, a
Okay.
little more
Square.
rectangular.
Yes. Yes, that's what I was thinking. Oh my gosh.
Isn't there like
That's wild.
there are people that have kids that look like them, and then there's this.
Yeah,
Like,
a
this is
clone.
clone shit.
Literally a clone, yeah.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. That is crazy.
It's wild.
Goodness.
Yeah, there was stuff about the music, but um I think it really kind of depends on which version you're watching as
Right.
to what music.
Right, because the music in this one kinda changed in the middle.
It got real weird in the
Yeah.
middle.
It was fine, and then it was like this other stuff, I
And it
thought
was like jazz. There was a
yeah.
lot of tip tapping on the cymbals.
Yeah, we noticed it, I mean
Very swingy music.
right. Weird. That was weird. Overall, though, I thought it was interesting, very creepy,
Yeah.
not at all what I was expecting.
No.
I think I was expecting something more like those ones we've watched recently that, you know, that are the story
Yeah.
from A to B, A to Z, whatever.
Well, unfortunately with this with um a silent like a fully silent film is that you have to get from A to B via C and D.
Right,
And then you have to get further from there via, another little tangent because
right,
you get a little bit of the story in the writing and then you get some acting, some pantomiming,
right,
and then you get a little more of the story and then you get more pantomiming. And then,
right. And I don't think that really happened in this movie.
no.
There was some writing, but I don't really think it had to do with the movie.
Right.
So it was interesting, but
And this cut
creepy.
definitely had the Stoker names.
Yeah,
So,
creepy.
yeah,
It was creepy.
it
It was
definitely
as
is creepy.
creepy as that guy looks.
If that guy was at the end of an alley in the dark, I'm going the other direction.
I'm running screaming.
Yeah.
Right, right. Weird.
Yeah.
It was okay. I mean, I wouldn't want to watch it again. Hey, 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 hey,
Ah, I see that. What's going on?
hey, hey,
Monster fight.
hey.
Shubu.
Sorry. I don't want anybody fighting around my feet.
Yeah, their claws are really sharp.
There's too many claws there to be around my feet.
Oh.
Hey, you. So, little babies. They're on edge today.
I woke up the other morning and Ash had been by my feet and in the time it took me to turn around and put my glasses on and walk around the corner of my bed. So, all of about 3.5 seconds. Ash is from the foot of the bed and he's on the floor and he's on his back and he's got his arms out and Lula is on top of him just hammering down on him.
Oh
And
my
and
goodness.
he's just like, "Eh." I said, "Baby, get up and kick her ass. You are twice as big as she is." And he's just like, "Eh."
And where did she come from?
I don't know. I don't know. She hadn't been in bed with me,
Oh my God.
but I was just like I looked away for no less than 3 seconds.
No. Right.
No more than 3
Yeah,
seconds.
that's all it takes.
And I tell Jelly all the time, Jelly, whoop her ass. She'll stop fucking with you if you whoop her ass a couple times.
Right. Right.
But Jelly's my gentle giant.
Yes, he
He's
is.
not gonna do that.
He's a sweet, sweet boy. He is a sweet boy.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, what else? What else you got?
Did you write down the dead
I
people?
do. I got the dead people.
Okay.
David Harris died at age 75.
She's a friend of the pod from the
Yep. The
Warriors.
Warriors. Yep. And Terry Garr at age 79.
The last of the young Frankenstein
Yep.
crew.
After a long battle with MS.
Wow.
They were interviewing her on my way over this morning. They were interviewing her on PBS. An old interview show.
Yeah.
how she started in the movies, and Young Frankenstein being one of her early films.
They had shown a picture of her on the internet, and the photo credit went to Dennis Hopper, and I was just like, "How did they know each other?"
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all we had this week.
Yeah. Well,
Just these two.
that's fine. Keep it light.
Yeah. I mean,
We
wow.
can't have 10 people dying in a week.
I know. I know. We'll have to start a whole show about those
Oh
weeks
my god.
for sure.
On today's Death Watch, this person died. Can you even believe it? They were old.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, Cochise from the Warriors, I was sad.
Yeah.
Makes me want to watch the Warriors. I was telling
Well,
Deborah about it. Deborah has never seen the Warriors.
what?
And I was just like, Deborah,
You'll have to go back and look at our podcast.
I'm gonna have to
Listen to that.
find a copy of it for her to watch.
Yeah, because how did we come across that?
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it before.
But no, I mean,
It's one of those movies that I like watching,
seemed to me that it was
but it's a cult movie.
a happenstance that we
I think
came across that
it
movie.
might have been streaming
Right.
and it was available at the time.
Right.
But if you can get out and see the Warriors, that movie's awesome.
Yeah.
And Young Frankenstein, go watch Terry
Oh,
Garr and Young Frankenstein.
right.
It's a great movie.
Yes. It always will be too.
And I guess it's not the last of the Young Frankenstein crew. Mel Brooks is still kicking.
Yeah, right. We decided that recently.
He's about 1.5 billion years old.
Yep. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's Terry Garr was in a lot of movies
Mhm.
that I have seen. She's one of those basic actresses. She can do anything.
Yeah.
You know, comedy. She's got great timing, real dramatic roles. Her first movie was in The Conversation.
Oh, okay. What's that?
It's a pretty dramatic movie.
Oh,
I don't think I've ever seen it, but I recall. But yeah, yeah, Terry Garr and David Harris.
yeah.
Strange. That was when as soon as you sent it to me, I recognized his face. I didn't put the name with the face, but I knew exactly who he was from the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, yeah, you caught both of them this time. I'm the one that watches the news, and I didn't see either one of
Yes,
them.
they came up on Facebook. Somebody in the Joe Bob Briggs group posted David Harris and I was just like, "No."
Yeah,
That's the group that it wanted you to join
right.
the Joe Bob Briggs.
I couldn't look at anything after I got into the Joe Bob Briggs, and I thought, well, this isn't what I want to look at. But it wouldn't let me not look at anything until I signed up, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So yeah, it was a good week. It's a good week.
Yeah. Any thoughts on what we're doing next? Are we still doing public domain horror or do
Oh
you
well,
want to move on? Because we can move on. You know, there's plenty of public domain horror to take us into the next millennium.
and by next October there'll be even more. So
Yeah.
well, let's see what's coming. Think we're heading into November. Should we maybe do one more horror movie and then move into Christmas?
Okay.
I don't know.
Um Boy, I don't have an idea. I don't have an idea on what we want to watch.
Or we'll find something else. You know us. We Something jumps into your head and I say, "Okay."
Um there's that box set in front of you that has all sorts of stuff. There's like Indestructible Man and that's Lon Chaney Jr. There's White Zombie, that's Bela Lugosi being eaten to death now. Um
She's gonna take it out on somebody. I wouldn't let her fight with her brother, so now she'll come over to you and take it out on you.
Yeah. How dare you be nice to me? Give me pets and love. She is she is tearing me up. Um, yeah, I don't know. There's choices.
Well, something will come up. You know us, and if you want us to look at something, let us know. We take a couple of weeks in between each movie, so if you have an idea, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess this is where we plug our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is where we have most of our information. I try to be ahead of the movie we're watching. Sometimes I'm not great about that, but I do try to give a couple days notice on what we're watching. Um, that's we post pictures of our theme meals.
And I'll get go on and put the pictures of the mausoleum,
Oh, cool. Yeah.
the headstone mausoleum type thing.
Yeah, cool. We didn't do a TikTok today.
No,
We had an idea, but I mean, and it would have been funny, but I mean, this movie's not funny.
no, and we just
And
lost it. I mean,
yeah, the
it
wheels kind of fell off.
yeah, it was not in us to do it after we watched the movie, and sorry. I mean, the last one kind of wasn't very good either. Now that I think about it, good grief, we're falling apart.
Well, I don't know. I thought House on Haunted Hill was fun. I enjoyed having a reason to dress up and do my hair.
I,
I left my hair like that for several days.
me too. Me too. I put makeup on like the next 3 days. It was weird.
Yeah,
I don't know how it happened, but
yeah.
I know. I even kind of combed my hair fancy today.
I noticed.
Yeah.
You
So
looked great when you came in.
didn't put any makeup on, but I made my hair look good.
Yeah. Oh, that shirt's real cute and your hair was cute.
Yeah, I like this shirt. I thought it would look pretty good in black and white. So the next time we
Yeah.
do something black and white, I'm gonna wear this
Okay.
because it's black and white.
At some point we have to watch The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, we you have mentioned that numerous times over the years.
Um,
Or should we do something like that? Something funny in between before we start something more serious?
we could do whatever you want. I've got goofy sweaters to wear. We're gonna have to drink a White Russian.
Yes, we can do it. We can get some soy milk.
Oh, would that be good? Don't, baby.
I think it would be all right. I don't, we could use the coconut milk. I like coconut milk.
Oh, why can't we just have a cold brew coffee and put it in a rocks glass?
Okay, I'm all right with that. And we've been doing some serious movies. Why don't we do something like that?
Okay.
The Big Lebowski, yeah.
You want to do Big Lebowski next?
Okay.
Okay.
I hope it'll be funny.
It's it's one of those. It's a Coen Brothers movie,
Yep.
so
We
it's got that dry humor
and we
that
like
is
them,
that
yeah.
is either raucously funny or
Like,
are very much just kind of like,
oh,
right?
okay.
Because there are some scenes in the movie that it's just like, oh, this is everything that's happening is ridiculous. But this is not funny at all.
Oh, okay.
But everything has to be ridiculous because these are ridiculous men.
Yeah, I get that because every time we do something together, it's ridiculous.
I guess that's a reason for us to watch this
Okay.
is because we are two idiots that get together and just jackassery happens.
Yes. Yes, like that little boy that ran around the other side of the car instead of by to you to get a candy.
He was so excited. He was just so excited and he took off running and he went up to the passenger side of my car and I'm just like
Baby, we're here.
I'm like 10 feet away from the car, baby. I'm a, come to the music.
It was we had a nice evening last night. The tricks or treaters came round. There were a lot of them,
Yeah, what would you say, about 25 kids?
at least. I would think at least. Um, this is the first year that there have been so many.
Yeah.
Usually we have, a dozen or so.
Yeah.
But this year we had a lot. The weather was not bad. I mean,
Oh.
compared to last year when we got almost an inch of
Yeah,
snow,
that was wild.
this year it was 70 degrees.
And misting.
It was misting. Thank God it wasn't raining.
Yeah, if it were raining, that woulda sucked.
Yep, I think
'Cause we
so.
woulda had to lock Reginald Manchego in the kitchen and, just
Right.
door service.
And he doesn't like that.
No.
So, but yeah, but it was a lovely evening. Um, the neighbors, there were a lot of neighbors out. Even spoke to my next door neighbors.
Yeah.
They don't usually come out in the evening other than to move the cars around. Craziness. Um, but yeah, it was a nice evening
Yeah.
and we didn't get into any trouble.
Did he call you mom or ma'am?
I think it's ma'am, but it sounds like mom, but
It
that's
did.
okay. I don't care.
I was like, "Do you guys know each other enough to have him call you mom?"
He's probably younger than you, so he can call me mom. No, that's his accent. I think is
Okay.
what he said is ma'am.
Yeah. He
So
was very happy to see us.
yeah, I haven't seen him in a couple of months. I see her and the kids every now and again,
Yeah.
but they're always busy. They always have people at their house. Somebody's there with them now. I don't know, so they're busy people.
Yeah.
They got that little baby, although the baby's like a year and a half now,
Oh my god.
little bit of a walker.
Oh, no.
So yeah, but both the kids are in all day grade school now. So
Yeah. They looked a lot bigger than the last time I saw them.
yeah, yeah. But they're fun little kids. The running and screaming, I just love it. Running up and down,
Yeah.
and he's got a little bicycle now that he rides.
Oh, no.
So he must be about third grade ish.
Yeah.
So it's fun. Fun to have little kids in the neighborhood,
Yeah.
not just us old people.
And
Oh,
here, Big Daddy and I are on our little island.
yeah.
Um, my boss at work, she just moved into her house and she bought a shitload of candy because she said in the summertime there's a billion kids on the street. She said she turned her light on. She was watching her Ring doorbell, and she said not a single person rang her bell.
Oh my God.
She said she was checking her doorbell like a psychopath because she's just like, "Am I just, like, not hearing it? Like, is something wrong and I'm just not hearing it?" She's like, she could look out onto her street and there was not a body to be seen.
My goodness. Where does she live?
Oh, in the hood.
Oh, that girl. Oh no, she's not having any trick or treaters there. Oh, good Lord. And we have so many of those trunk or treats around us. Every
Yeah.
church has something, every,
Yeah, and
school
you're
group.
smack dab between a church and a school.
Right. And I just never thought that I'd see as many. Even like I said, the kids from two doors down from me, they've never come out Halloweening.
Yeah,
This is the first year for them.
I've only ever seen those kids in the summertime.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So,
then I didn't see the girl, I just saw the boy.
right. Right. I don't know where the rest of them were. But anyway, yeah, we had more this year than we've ever had. But last year we closed up after just a few minutes. I
Oh, the
mean,
snow was
it was coming down so hard
outrageous.
and it was so cold.
Yeah, we had what, like 6 or 7 kids last year. It was just like,
Yeah.
shut it down.
Yeah.
Shut it down.
Right. And I said, "Look, I'm going in. I'm done." Because we sit out on the stoop. We don't
Yeah,
we don't stay in the house.
no, because Reginald Manchego wants to be an outside cat so
Right.
bad.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. But he can't be.
No.
He's too precious.
Yeah.
He's too precious to mommy. except when he's waking me up at 1 a.m.
Oh, that sucks.
And I'd gone to bed. Fortunately, I'd gone to bed about 10, so I had gotten a couple of hours of sleep, but god dang, leave me alone.
I every once in a while, Ash will look at me in bed like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, he'll just have that look on his eyes are set, and he's just looking at me like,
He's gonna rip your face off.
"As I move, he wants to curl up on me, and
Oh,
I move so much,
yeah.
and he's just like, "Why can't you be still?"
Like Grammy is right now, just letting him lay here, me petting him.
Well, I don't know if you see Miss Lula here.
I know
She's calmed down.
she finally has laid down. Thank goodness.
Well, she did try to commandeer the rig, so
Yes.
I'm happy that she's calmed down.
Yeah, we love our little kittens.
Yeah,
They're sweet, sweet babies.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, his little toe beans. Oh well. Okay. Hey, let's do that. The Big Lebowski
Okay,
next time.
find something goofy to wear.
Um, Sweaters, huh?
Yeah. Ooh.
I'll find something. I've really only got Christmas sweaters, but I'll find something.
Okay.
Like a pullover sweater?
No, like a cardigan. Oh.
I can go to the Goodwill.
Okay. Find something
Get one for you too?
horrendous.
Okay.
If you find something awesome, get two.
Okay. I can do
In
that.
fact, just call me when you go. I'll go with you. Well, what the hell else am I doing?
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't want to drink a White Russian. I tried when Big Lebowski was big. I tried to get into White Russians. It just milk and vodka. Ugh.
Mm.
Plus, me and vodka aren't friends anymore.
I'm not a big fan of vodka and I don't do milk, so yeah, we'll get us a cold brew and
Yeah, just
we'll just
a cold
pretend.
brew with the foamy stuff in it.
Yeah, yeah.
That looks like a White Russian.
Okay.
Just mix it. Just
All
mix
right.
it.
I'll bring the cold brew I like the cold brew from Tim Hortons.
Okay. I don't think I've ever had a cold brew.
Um, I think it tastes really different from brewed coffee, but other people would say it tastes like coffee to me.
Okay.
You know.
All right. I like coffee. Is it sweet?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And
That's
then
great.
that whipped cream top, it's not really whipped cream. I don't exactly know what that cold foam is, but it's
It's
like
probably whipped milk.
sweetened whipped milk.
Oh, is it like sweet and condensed milk?
Yeah, kind of almost.
Oh,
But
okay.
I like it and I do have a cold brew with cold foam every now and again.
Okay. I could get into that because I like, I like my coffee sweet and blonde,
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
just like me.
I always get vanilla cold foam with 1 cream and 1 sugar, but I could get yours with 15 sugars.
Just get like one and I'll put my own sugar in the privacy of my own home.
Okay.
I'll do my own sugar because I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want I don't want the lady at Tim Horton to be like, "Can you believe this crazy woman came in and wanted 15 sugars on coffee?"
Well, I could get the liquid pump sugar. That is real sweet.
Oh, like simple syrup?
Yeah. Yeah. I usually just get sugar because it doesn't chill my teeth like the pump sugar does. But the pump sugar's real sweet. So. But yeah, we could do that. Like, we'll fake it. We'll
Yeah,
fake it.
we definitely have to fake it, especially if we're gonna do it 8 o'clock in the morning. I can't.
We could put a little bit of vodka in it, but we don't have to put a whole shot of vodka in anything.
Mm.
Because like I said, I could barely talk today, and that we didn't have the wine. So how would I be if I had a Mixed cocktail. I'd be under the chair.
Oh boy, you'd have to sleep on the
Oh
couch.
my god, yes. Okay. Yeah, we'll have fun. That'll be fun. That'll be fun to do.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's wild.
All right.
Fuck it, let's go bowling.
Okay. That's what I was just thinking. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right.
All right, well then we'll be back in a couple weeks with Big Lebowski.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan.
All right, everybody. Have a good evening, good day, whatever. Have a good whatever is where you are.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye-bye.